One of the issues that I have is when you look at the charges that Hunter Biden was indicted on, less than 0.09% of the population is indicted are indicted on that charge. And so it's basically close to zero. So I actually think that the only reason he was indicted is because his last name is Biden. So if you look at it like that, right? If you look at it like that, then it is the right thing to do to correct course and correct that wrong and pardon his son. The other piece of this is Hunter Biden has acknowledged his addiction. Yeah. He is an addict. And in the law, you know, there are all sorts of ways to handle people that commit crimes because of their addiction. There are drug deferment programs. Mm-hmm. And he should be someone that should be treated a bit differently because of the addiction. And I would support not only, I think, his pardon on the illegal gun application one, but the other one in California as well. And you would support it
for any other addict that had rehabilitated like he has.
Normally, I take what you're saying, Sonny, about it's because his son is, because he's the president.
That is why. Particular charge.
I agree, but I think President Biden always recognized that and still took the higher road of what it meant for the country, even in how he talked about it and handled it. Yeah. But I'm exhausted, and I think Biden has taken such a punching this time with all the losing, the having to hand it off, the way everything's gone, that I just feel like this would be the one thing I would wish for him, that he could just say, you know what, I'm out, and so is Hunter. You know what, I just wish he could do one thing.
They should also pardon those dogs that bit the Secret Service agents. Those dogs need to be pardoned.
Justice for Commander.
Listen, bro, the fact of the matter is that they want special treatment for Biden, but they wanted to have election interference for Trump. That's just the fact of the matters, right? They're trying to justify the fact that they want Hunter Biden pardoned, in which these women never gave a flying F about Hunter Biden. I don't see them ever, not one time has anybody ever sent me a clip of them holding anybody in the Democratic Party accountable outside of Tulsi Gabbard because she defected away from the Democratic Party, and she absolutely she was the first person to expose Kamala Harris as far as being a fraud and not being presidential when she was making her presidential run in 2019. So now these hyenas, I call them the lunch ladies, are trying to justify reasons why it makes sense for Hunter Biden, and all throughout Biden's presidency, he was absolutely positively trash. He leveraged the fact that his father had visibility money and it was the president of the United States of America to embarrass his father, while at the same time ruining his father's legacy and breaking the law extensively. And remember, the thing that Hunter Biden is getting caught up in is the thing that he got caught for. That's not necessarily all of the things that he did. And so I remember the stories of them saying that drugs was found inside of the White House. Now they're saying, oh, no, listen, he admitted his guilt. Well, what happened to you still having to deal with the consequences of your actions and you don't just get a pass on that? That don't count? Rule of law don't count? We don't actually hold people accountable for their decisions anymore? Meanwhile, on the flip side, not only are they not holding Democrats accountable for anything, they're not even talking about the stuff that's going wrong right here, right now. They had no conversation about Kamala Harris's supporter message and the fact that there's a lot of people that worked for her campaign that didn't get paid and they had to set up a GoFundMe for that. They just mysteriously neglected to have a conversation about that, and they're still talking about she the most qualified. Chick squandered $1.5 billion. Big donors is mad about it. Then you telling me that they're not aware of that? Oh, they're aware. They're absolutely aware. They're just choosing when and where to have this conversation and whether or not it's going to be relevant in this culture, which is cool because everybody is aware and everybody is paying attention. But here's the facts of the matter, and this is two things. Number one, I personally believe that what you've seen happen to Donald Trump as far as him being persecuted and prosecuted was the highest form of election interference that we've ever seen in our entire life, all the way to the point to where there's people that still talking about, oh man, you voted for a convicted felon. Come on, man. Come on. Letitia James, heartbroken because they knew that Trump was going to win this election. Fani Willis, maybe not so heartbroken because she was just lucky to get her shirt, keep her shirt on her back after all of the negative stuff and the wild stuff that they was doing. And what I seen happening in the White House as far as them keeping secrets and the fact that, and I will never forget this, and I will never stop shouting this from the rooftops, the fact that the vice president, the current sitting vice president, Kamala Harris, and it's on the logs that she met with Fani Willis and Andre Dickens, the mayor of Atlanta, prior to Trump getting charges filed against him, is the highest form of election interference, and they tried to keep him off the ballots and keep us from being able to vote for him, even though they knew that we wanted him to be president of the United States of America. But here's the flip side of it. And let me be objective because I'm different from the hyenas on The View. The flip side of this is I actually agree with the fact that Joe Biden would pardon Hunter Biden because I would do the same thing. Should Hunter Biden be held accountable for his actions? Absolutely. But is there a form of nepotism? 100%. And so anything that I would do, I can't then hold somebody else accountable for not doing it. Let me say that again. If I'm Joe Biden, I'm not going to let my son go to jail before I die. I'm going to pardon him and I'm going to make sure that he get out of jail simply because he's my son. And that is just the way that it works. Favoritism and favor ain't favorable for everybody. That's just the way that the cookie crumbles. But I wish we would be I wish we would be honest about it. That's my biggest thing. See, my thing is, I just want to keep it 100. I'm going to keep it 100 with my opinion. I'm going to keep it objective as possible as far as how I see things. And I'm going to just be real. They're trying to justify them saying, oh man, he should have pardoned Hunter Biden because he's an addict and he admitted that he's an addict. Listen, he was holding guns, Hunter Biden laptop, all of that. We all know the story. Some of y'all may have forgotten a little bit about it. I'm not going to go over it, but we've covered that on this channel and on the Anton Daniels Millionaire Morning Show. We've covered all of that. The fact of the matter is, they're not being objective because they're still salty about losing an election. They're trying to justify the fact that Joe Biden is probably going to pardon Hunter Biden because he's his son. No, or because he's admitted his faults. No, he's going to pardon him because he's his son. And most of us would do the exact same thing because that's our children. Of course, we're going to, and don't get me wrong, I think that elected officials and people that are in the public eye should be held to a higher standard, 100%. But I'm also looking at it from a human perspective. And what would I do if I was in that position? And would I do it any differently if I'm Joe Biden? Absolutely not. I wouldn't do it any different if I was Joe Biden. I would pardon him because he's my son or because she's my daughter or whatever. And so, of course, you have a passion for your children. And some of us, not mine, but some people have some F up children and you want them to do the best. You want them to be protected. You don't want them to go the way of Fredo. Shout out to The Godfather, Godfather Part 2, one of the greatest movies of all time. And so you're going to do things and you're going to get favor because they are your children. Now, the things that we need to really talk about is Joe Biden's legacy and his inability to probably be a great father. That could be more of a conversation. But please miss me with this nonsense acting like he shouldn't pardon him because he learned his lesson. This is what I call inability to be objective. This is why I think that this show is absolutely trash. And this is why I think that this show is going by the wayside. But that's just my personal opinion. I would like to know what your personal opinion is. Make sure you guys tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, get your tickets to come and see me December 14th in Detroit. It's going to be an absolute awesome show. And then all of the discount code, Anton, all of that is in the description. I love you. I appreciate you. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Am I off? And I'm always open to the possibility of being wrong. Or am I accurate with this assessment? And should these women absolutely bring themselves to the front of the congregation and stop capping?